Hello everyone, this is Andrew Bennett, Fort Bend County Law Librarian, and today for our legal informational video we're going to be looking at Hein Online, which is one of our databases that's somewhat overlooked. A lot of people talk about Westlaw and Lexis Advance, and we do cover those pretty heavily, but the third database that we pay for that's only available here in the law library, or I should say within the Justice Center, and I'll explain a little bit what I mean by that. But we're going to focus a little bit more on that because it's one of those databases that it's really unique. There's a lot of good resources on it, and you're actually able to look up case law by citation, of course, but anywhere in the Justice Center. So there's a lot of advantages to this database that you have access to. So let's go ahead and look at it. I'm going to share my screen here. There we go. And here is the main screen. Like I said, you can get access to it here in the Justice Center in the Law Library. Now, of course, we're closed right now, but you still have access to it, okay? You don't have access to it from home, like Gale Legal Forms Library or Legal Information Reference Center, Lexis Digital Library, but you do have access to it anywhere in the Justice Center. And you don't need a library card, okay? So all you need to do is be connected to the Wi-Fi here in the Justice Center, which for us is going to be Fort Bend FBC guest, I believe. Call us and we'll be able to get you the specific Wi-Fi, but I believe it's FBC guest. But anyway, so let's look at this database. There's a lot of good things on here. One, most people do this for law journal research. We have access to quite a few, not just the Texas journals that we have access to in print if you've ever been in the law library. We do have about half a dozen law journals that we subscribe to, law reviews. So you do have access to a lot of those through this database. So let's just look at that real quick. So here's your main screen. If you access it through Hein Online through the Wi-Fi FBC guest, you would have to download the Hein Online app, and you can download that on Android or Apple, whatever you need. You just search for Hein Online. And then it's going to have to authenticate through the Wi-Fi. So as long as you're connected to FBC guest, you'll be able to connect to Hein Online. And like I said, you can get access to that anywhere in the Justice Center as long as you're connected to Wi-Fi. And it doesn't matter what you're using, whether you're using a laptop, a tablet, what have you, you'll have access to it. If we were open, I would say you could just sit down at any of our public computers and you'll have access to it that way. And you just click on the link there on the desktop and you're right in, okay? So, like I said, most people use this database for law journals, law reviews. So the easiest way to do that, now of course you can search by the title of the law review right here. Let's say you're looking for Texas Tech Law Review, Houston Law Review, South Texas College of Law Review. Maybe you're looking for a law review from a different state. Search for it that way, okay? But you can also just browse. Let's just say you're interested in, what kind of journals we have access to. Just come down here under Browse Databases by Name. Just click on Law Journal Library. And so here you go. You've got them all sorted by alphabetical order. Now, you can narrow it. So if you want to narrow it by state, narrow it by country, because we do have access to some international law journals, whether they be from Europe or somewhere else. You can narrow it by subject, so you can click on that too. You can also narrow it by author, so maybe there's an author that you like to follow. You can get access to it that way. Now, of course, if you click on state, let's scroll down to just show you what Texas journals we have. As you can see here, we've got 82. So that's quite a lot. We only had access to 6 in print. So, this is quite a few more that we have access to. And the other good thing about it is that right here off the bat, you can see what years we have access through Hein Online. Okay, so the American Journal of Criminal Law, 1972 to 2019. That's pretty good. Now, some of the journals in here may be a little bit behind. It's just a matter of when Hein Online gets them published, so just be aware of that too. But for the most part, they get published as soon as they're, published by the institution. So let's scroll down here. I'm just going to select one, that you might look at a lot. Let's just select Texas Law Review. As you can see, we've got it all the way back to 1922. So let's say you're doing some sort of maybe some legislative history, or you're doing, kind of historical research on what the law might have been back then, and maybe a student or a professor wrote something in a law journal that might give you some insight. So you might want to have access to the law journal from that far back. So let's just click on Texas Law Review. Now, when you're browsing it like this, it's pretty much sorted by volume. So you can get track of it pretty easy. They also add the years in which it was published so that you know which issues you're looking at. So I'm just going to click on one randomly here. I'm just going to click on volume 93. And so this sent me to the first one. Now, if you had clicked on the plus sign here, now it's going to open up each issue that way. So if you click on, 93, 2014 to 2015, it's going to send you to that first issue. Okay. So I'm just going to click on this article here, sorting the neighborhood book reviews. Just as an example here. So now you're in like an ebook format here, very similar to some of our other ebooks like on Lexis Digital Library. Now you can over here on the left jump to a different article within the law review. You can download it here in PDF. You can also print or download it in a different option. So if I click on print here, it'll default download to PDF, but you can do just text. You can also save it to your Dropbox. So if you have a Dropbox account, you can easily just push it over there as well. You can email it, so you can email a PDF copy to yourself as well. You can just, convert it to text. You can make a link to this. Maybe you just want to send the link to somebody and they can access to it the next time they're up here. You can also click on the drop-down box here to click on a different page number. You can search it, bookmark it for later, things like that. So to read through it, you'll just kind of scroll down, and then you can either keep scrolling and it'll go to the next page. You can hit the little arrows here and go back and forth. So there's a lot of options depending on what you're more comfortable with. Okay. So that is just a quick look. Now, the last thing I want to show you within a document like this is that there are going to be some highlighting in here or links to a particular case. So for instance, if a case is cited in here or maybe an article from a different law review, sometimes they're going to be cited, and I'm kind of scrolling through here to see if I've got one that is linked. It's not looking like it at the moment. Here we go. So if, there was something linked, well, it was there. What happened to it? Here we go. No. Well, if it was in there and it was hyperlinked, you'd be able to jump. So like here's actually a link here. It looks like it goes to a website. You may not necessarily want to click on that. Let's see if I can find one here. Yeah, here we go. So here's a federal case that's been cited within this law review article. So I'm going to click on that from the federal supplement. Now it's going to open up the case for me. So now I can read the case that's been cited in this particular law review. So that might be very important, especially if it's Texas law and you happen to find something. Hein Online does carry case law. Now it's not going to be annotated like it might be in Westlaw or Lexis Advance, but you can get the opinion. You can get the results of the case You know, in here it does cite additional case law. Maybe it was cited within the case, so you can jump back and forth and do a lot of case law research. Okay, so you can do that on this database. Let me go back here. So that's just kind of a general browse of the law journals. But I do want to show you kind of a little bit on just general searching. So like for instance, I do want to search Law Journal Library, but I'm going to type in some keywords here. Now this is not quite as sophisticated as Westlaw or Lexis Advanced, but it does do pretty good keyword searching. It does look at Boolean operators, so your and or not. And it does do phrase searching. If you put it in quotations, maybe you're looking for a title of a journal or something like that. So I'm just going to do like a general search here. I'm going to do DWI, and let's see, traffic. Let's see what we come up with. This may be a search doing, you know, breathalyzer tests, you know, loopholes and blood draws, like it said here. Ooh, ooh, there you go. So there's a lot of options you can come up to when you're doing case law searching, or I'm sorry, keyword searching for Law Journal. Now, I've got 3,155 results. As you might imagine, that's way too much. There's no way you're going to go through all of this. Now, it tries to do it, as you can see here, by relevance, but it may have missed some. So one of the things you can do up here, of course, you can narrow it. So I just want the most recent Law Journal articles. So I'm going to do 2016 to date here. So now I'm bound to 258. Maybe I want to do it, you know, limited by state. So I'm looking for Texas. There we go. So now I'm down to 22, right? So as you can see here, it did look for the word and, but we've got DWI, we've got traffic. So this may be one we want to look through. This one probably not so much, as only DWI came up. So there's going to be some options here that you can probably look through. Here you go, DWI traffic stop. That may be perfect. Now, it is, the title is on sovereign immunity and private university law enforcement. So that may or may not deal with what you're looking for. So there's going to be some that you're going to have to look through and make sure. So like I said, the search isn't quite as good as Westlaw or Lexis Advanced, but it is good enough that you can narrow it down and find some of the results you're looking for. Okay, so here's one on driverless cars in the criminal justice system. So that may very well fall into what you're looking for. It could talk about, you know, warrantless stops or something like that. Now it is talking about driverless cars, so maybe you're not looking for that in particular, but there may be some good things in there. As you might imagine, with doing law journal research, it is pretty narrow in scope. So you may have to pick and choose some of the research you're going through. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the main page. The last thing I do want to show you, one, there's a lot of different things in here that you get access to. Some of them are just kind of general interest, like English reports or early American case law. It's probably not something that you're going to want to cite in a case or anything like that. Maybe you're looking for, you know, COVID-19 information. They've got a lot of stuff in here about that. Maybe you're doing some sort of research paper for college, or maybe you're in graduate school. There is gun regulation and legislation, so there is some good things like that, you know, slavery in America, you know, National Survey of State Laws, which is an absolute fantastic overview of multi-jurisdictional laws, you know, gun regulation included. There's some others in there, adoption, you know, there's a lot of different things in there that you can look at. If it's, you know, U.S. related here, we've got U.S. Code, Presidential Library, you know, they got this new Presidential Impeachment Library, Treaties and Agreements. There's a lot of great things in those collections that you might want to search. Now, I will tell you, if you do want to do case law search, and the advantage of this, of course, maybe you're in court and you don't have time to pull up the case or run down to the law library and print it off from Westlaw or what have you. You might want to just click on case law here. Now, the downside to this is you do need to have the citation, okay? So let's see if I can think of one here. I think 3D 191. Okay, I must have gotten that citation wrong. That's okay. Let's go back to case law. Let me pull one up here. Let's see. Well, anyway, I don't want to make this video too long, but if you had the citation, you'd be able to pull it up. Let's see if I can grab one real quick. Let's go back to our traffic. And let's try warrantless stop. Okay, so I'm just going to click on this first one here because I'm just simply looking for a citation. Let's see if I can grab one here. Yeah, it's going to be more difficult than I thought. Aha. Let's see, 500 Federal 2nd 960. So let's go to case law, 500 F2D 960. There you go. Now we got a case. So from here, again, same things like you would, in the Law Journal library, you have the option to download or email it. Again, you can search through this case. Look, as you can see, there are other cited cases in here that you can click on, and this is what you'd be able to access in the courtroom. Again, it is just the case. There's no annotations in here, okay? So anyway, that was a quick run through of Hein Online. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to contact us. You can contact us by phone or email at llpublic@fortbend.lib.tx.us. Thank you.